It's June 6th, 2025, and honestly, the past few developments politically for the United States has me more hopeful than I expected. To start, a few days ago, a federal judge blocked the shutdown of the Job Corps program. The program will continue, however, I'm not sure for how long it will. Another thing I'm focusing on is the big, beautiful bill that is currently in Senate debate, and what I'm seeing so far is that a lot of senators don't like it because it would raise the deficit by a great deal and it would cut Medicaid for millions of people, and a lot of these senators have a lot of constituents on Medicaid. So far, from what I've seen, Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, as well as Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, both won't vote for the bill. Republicans have 53 seats in the Senate, 54 counting Vance. If two more senators decide not to vote for this, which could be Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, or Josh Hawley of Missouri, then the bill would fail and things would need to be changed, which would be a positive development. Because another thing to understand is that a lot of what Trump has been doing has been executive order. He is still yet to pass the budget, and we are halfway through, more than halfway through the fiscal year for the United States government. The fact that he can barely pass any bills at all is a testament to how little staying power his administration has had so far. On the topic of immigration, I'm a bit more mixed. I was happy to see that Kilmar Abrego Garcia is returning to the US, which would start a precedent of more people who were detained and sent to El Salvador returning back to the US, which is the way that things should be. They should face trial here and they should have the right of due process. However, I wasn't happy to see the charges presented against Garcia, claiming that he was a human trafficker, and I believe that an official from Tennessee actually resigned because they disagreed with the charges being brought towards him. On top of that, earlier today in downtown LA, not too far from where I live, there was an ICE raid that turned violent, and I wasn't happy to see that, but I was happy to see more people protesting and voicing their disapproval. I have been encouraged by seeing people in Massachusetts as well as New York step up and stand up against ICE as well. I think that in general, when a society doesn't trust law enforcement, that's a sign of a very unhealthy society, and I'm not a fan of how ICE officers or agents don't really identify themselves wearing masks and covering up their badges, because that opens the door to distrust as well as people impersonating agents, which usually leads to people being manipulated or robbed or something worse like SA. I'm not a fan of that, but I am happy to see more people standing up and voicing their disapproval, which I think is something that needs to be done. And then finally, there's been this public breakup between Trump and Musk, which is not surprising because when you have two people in the same room with massive egos, they usually can't be there for very long. But what is interesting is that there's so many different directions that this could go. Elon Musk has been talking about starting a new political party or funding primary challengers against Trump. And the thing is that if he's funding primary challengers that don't support Trump that are still conservative, well, that would split the conservative vote, which would increase the likelihood of Democrats winning more votes in Congress, which could change a whole lot of things. There's even the talk of invoking the 25th Amendment and replacing Trump with Vance, citing Trump's decline on his mental health, which is possible because of Vance's ties to Peter Thiel and Peter Thiel's ties to Curtis Yarvin, and it would make a lot of sense. But there's also the fact that a lot of members of Congress do actually enjoy having Trump in office because Trump takes away a lot of the scrutiny away from them onto himself. And so I know for a fact that a great deal of people in Congress do like the fact of having Trump in office because it does actually make their jobs easier. Now, if you're wondering why all of these developments have me feeling more optimistic, it's because it's showing the value in being persistent. That despite all the things that are happening, the most important thing is that the people who are persevering and actively working towards making things better are the people who are succeeding. And it is working. We are seeing positive change. And whatever it is that you believe in or whatever it is that you're trying to do, the most important thing that you can do right now, even if you're a huge critic of the Trump administration, the most important thing that you can do is to keep going, keep saying what you believe in, and don't self-censor. Keep speaking your mind and don't let people silence you.